Welcome back to another episode on the Crossbar channel. Today's video is going to be all about the Champions League. That's right, match day 2 is coming up Tuesday and Wednesday. We got a lot of great games, so I'm going to do a quick overview of all the match, and then I'm going to make my pick on who's going to defeat who. So, without wasting any more time, let's go. Okay, here we go. We're going to start with the Group A. Bayern Munich, Copenhagen, Galatasaray, and Manchester United. Now, it's only been game 1, but United still is dead last. They lost to Bayern Munich, so it was kind of expected. I predicted it in my previous prediction of the Champions League match day 1. Copenhagen surprised me as I thought Galatasaray was going to defeat them, but it was a draw. Ended up being a good draw for Galatasaray just because how the game went on, but really, I thought Galatasaray was going to defeat Copenhagen. But anyways, we're going to start with Copenhagen. It's going to host Bayern Munich. Again, it's going to be an easy win for Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich should be 6 points easily. Harry Kane and his crew are going to feast on Copenhagen. Now, I know I kind of sold Copenhagen short in the first game against Galatasaray, but Bayern Munich is a different animal, to be honest. Then we have Manchester United against Galatasaray. Now, that's the big game of the group. United, again, already have one loss. They're supposed to finish top 2 with Bayern Munich. I think they will. They could very much finish top 2. But like I said, Galatasaray to me is my dark horse in this group because it's a very solid team. A little bit under the radar, but I like them a lot. So even this game, I'm going to say United has to win. I mean, they have to win. They're playing home. They lost their first game. But I don't think they're going to beat Galatasaray, to be honest. I don't think they will. It can go all south for Galatasaray and they can lose 4-0. But for some reason, I'm thinking Galatasaray is not going to lose that game. So we'll see. And then Group B, we got Arsenal, RC Lens, Sevilla, and PSV Eindhoven. Arsenal, of course, is meant to finish first. Again, it was between Sevilla, RC Lens, and PSV Eindhoven, really, to get the second place. Although I thought RC Lens was not going to be as good as last season, as they lost their key players, as I said in the previous videos. I mean, Luis Openda, Fofana, and the whole squad. But I was surprised that they held their own on their first game. So it was impressive. So we'll see how they go. But yeah, in this Group B, we got a couple of good games. As I say, we got Sevilla and PSV Eindhoven. Sevilla doesn't have a good start of the season so far. So I don't know. Sevilla is hard to predict because they can be terrible one game. And the other game, they can just be amazing. But especially PSV playing home, you know what? I'm going to say a draw in this game. These two teams look like Sevilla's going to defend the heck out of the PSV, and PSV is probably not going to be able to defeat them. So I'm going to say a draw in this game. And then the other game of that group, RC Lens is hosting Arsenal. Unfortunately for RC Lens, it would be great, to be honest. To me, it would be great if RC Lens can defeat Arsenal or even get a point. But I don't see that happen. Arsenal is rolling in all cylinders right now. So I'm going to say Arsenal is going to defeat RC Lens. Group C, Napoli, Real Madrid, Braga, and Union Berlin. The two favorites of the group, Napoli and Real Madrid, won their first game, respectively. But the two are facing off this time around. So, of course, Real Madrid is favorite. Although they're going to play at Napoli, it's still not the Napoli of last season. They lost Luciano Spalletti, went to the Squadra Azzurra. So, it's not the same vibe in Napoli, and Real Madrid can cash in on it. So, I'm going to say you got to have Real Madrid as favorite. I mean, even if they lose, even if they don't win, they have to step in most field in Europe as the favorite. So Real Madrid is going to win that game, and not Napoli. And the other game on that group is going to be Braga and Union Berlin. I think it's going to be... I'm going to go with Union Berlin for some reason. I think they're more consistent. That's pretty much the reason. And they play home. Braga is a really good team, but I think Union has to prove that they're the team that they were last season. So I'm going to say Union Berlin is going to win that game. Group D, here's the big one that I was completely wrong. I thought Salzburg was not going to have a win in that first game. And also, I was surprised by Inter Milan. But yet again, I said Real Sociedad is one of my dark horse in this group. I think people are sleeping on Real Sociedad, but they're sneaky good. Real Sociedad is sneaky good. So I'm going to say in Group D, Salzburg hosting Real Sociedad. To be honest, I'm going to go with Real Sociedad on that one, although Salzburg surprised me the heck out of me last game around when they won, but I think Sociedad is going to be a little too much for them. I will be pleased if Salzburg can get a point or even win, but I'm gonna go Real Sociedad on that match. And Inter Milan, Benfica, Lisbon. Benfica caused a huge problem to Italian to teams in general last season in Champions League. Di Maria is on fire at this point, but Inter has to win. They draw the first game. Inter kind of has to win. They have to win. So I'm gonna do Inter Milan, and they're playing in Italy. Benfica is good, but it's not as good as they were last season. So I'm going to go Inter Milan win that game. Group E, Feyenoord, Atletico Madrid, Lazio, and Celtic. First game, Atletico looked like they were going to defeat Lazio, but Lazio Roma held their own, and it was a draw. Feyenoord, of course, as predicted, defeated Celtic. I mean, Celtic's really... It would be a miracle if they get out of this group, to be honest. Atletico hosting Feyenoord. Atletico should definitely win that game, but Feyenoord plays attractive football, but Atletico should manage. They should manage to beat Feyenoord. And Lazio has to win against Celtic. I don't care what anybody say. I don't care how hard Celtic plays. Lazio has to win against Celtic. So yeah, Group F, Paris Saint-Germain, Newcastle, AC Milan, and Borussia Dortmund. That's the group of death. In the first game, Paris somewhat easily dismantled Borussia Dortmund. As predicted, Dortmund is way too open. They play way too offensive football to be able to go toe-to-toe with PSG's front three or front four, to be honest. And that's the problem in this group. But now they're going to St. James's Park facing Newcastle. And I'm going to say, I heard a lot of pundits, of course, a lot of English media said Newcastle is going to win all their home game. I'm not sure Newcastle is going to beat Paris in this game. Now, Paris did have a kind of performance in the French league on Saturday, was against Clermont-Ferrand 0-0. I mean, but games usually before the Champions League or right after the Champions League are kind of iffy for some certain team that kind of put their focus on the Champions League. So I'm going to say disregard that game against Clermont. Is not going to be an indicative of how Paris is going to play in the Champions League. Newcastle plays a very offensive football, but also really compact in the midfield. So it's going to be interesting to see how Ugarte, Zaire Emery handle their own against a really high-pressing Newcastle midfield. But I'm going to have to go with Paris. Paris has to go over there. I mean, they don't have to go and win. A draw will be good, but I think Paris should win that game. And then AC Milan, Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund has already lost 2-0. Dortmund can't afford another defeat if they still aspire to get out of this group. So I'm going to say, although Milan didn't lose, Milan can afford a draw or even a defeat. But I'm going to go... I think I'm going to go with Dortmund. It's kind of weird because as much as I love Milan, I think Dortmund is playing home. They're just coming off a loss. I don't see them losing back-to-back. I mean, they could lose, but I'm going to say, against my better judgment, I'm going to say Dortmund is going to win, or at the very least, it's going to be a draw. Group G is going to be RB Leipzig, Manchester City, Red Star Belgrade, and Young Boys, of course, as predicted. Manchester City and RB Leipzig number one in this group. They should be the two teams that go out of the group, that come out from the group, because they're really the best team. City going to end up first, in my view, and then Leipzig second. I'm hoping Red Star going to finish third, at least in the Europa League, but we'll see how it goes. But RB Leipzig hosting Manchester City. Now, we know Erling Haaland loves Bundesliga's teams. Last season, he scored his most goals against Bundesliga's opponent. So I guess for him, knowing how the German clubs play, he kind of fell in the same comfort zone and he scored tons of goals. So it will be kind of the same. I know City just lost in the FA Cup against Newcastle. But yet again, the Champions League is a different animal. I think City's going to go in there and make a demonstration out of RB Leipzig. So I'm going to go with Manchester City winning that game. And Red Star against Young Boys, I'm going to go with Red Star. Like I said, Red Star is kind of my favorite team that I like on the low. They're playing home. I love their fan over there in Serbia. So I'm going to go Red Star. Do not disappoint me, Red Star. Group H, we got Barcelona, FC Porto, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Antwerp. That's the last group. Barcelona, of course, sitting first. Barcelona and FC Porto were my favorite coming out of the group, although I knew Shakhtar Donetsk can sneak it in. I'm going to say Barcelona is going to go at Porto. Should be a win for Barcelona, really. Porto doesn't have what it takes to defeat Barcelona. This Barcelona team is going to be on fire. And I'm going to say Shakhtar Donetsk is going to have to win against Antwerp. They have to. They already lost their first game. This is the game that everybody expects them to win. They have more talent. And yeah, they should win. So that's my quick picks and prediction. Now, what say you? Let me know who you think. Who's your favorite team? Who you think I got wrong? Let me know before the game who you think I got wrong. And I'll see you guys on the next one.